Okay. So, hi.
Hi.
This is Dana Coretta Stein, and Dana is an absolutely wonderful therapist. I can even describe how wonderful she is.
Thank you.
But the wonderful thing about her too is she's a really great friend, and and I really, really value her in many, many ways. So I
Same.
wanted to have her come on and talk a little bit about her experience. She's, very skilled of, how it's been, with the coronavirus and the transition with your clients and, maybe some examples of, how people are coping and then even talking about yourself as
Yeah,
well.
absolutely.
And
Yeah,
Dana, I should mention, is a new mom.
yeah.
So
If you
that's
hear
important.
crying in the background, it's either my husband or my child, possibly for the same reason.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you so much for setting this up, Michelle. So yes.
Sure.
So I'm an EMDR therapist. I do trauma and anxiety work, and we're all just adjusting, right? So there's been a ton of change. So one thing I've noticed that is the most common in people that I work with is sleeping. So I hear this time and time again of, oh, I'm having a really hard time falling asleep, having a hard time staying asleep. And a lot of it, I think, is just so valid because our schedules are off.
Hmm.
So everybody's kind of like staying up later, not in their routine. Maybe their anxieties, their worries, their thoughts about themselves, their loved ones are keeping them up a lot more. So that's definitely been a common struggle that I've seen with a lot of individuals that I'm working with, and even people who I'm just, talking to one time. Maybe they're reaching out for just like a one-time kind of support. But that seems to be the biggest issue that I'm seeing.
So I know that you mentioned the EMDR, which
Mhm.
I'm a big fan of and also practice. We're in a peer supervision group together.
Yeah.
So do you use the EMDR to help them with sleep, or use any kind of other treatments or methodologies, or is there any like quick tips or suggestions that you could give,
Absolutely. Yeah.
others?
So there's an excellent protocol, an EMDR protocol, which is specific to this exact situation, and it's called the self-care procedure for coronavirus. So that's really helpful for anyone who's experiencing feelings of anxiety, guilt, panic, fear, inadequacy, and it can be done in one session. And it's really helpful for kind of accepting that there's certain things that are not in our control right now, and using the bilateral, which is part of the EMDR, to kind of help stabilize
Hmm.
those intense, uncomfortable emotions right now. So that's one way that I'm using EMDR to kind of help with my clients. Other ways that we're using it is kind of just looking at things. We're doing more of the phase 2 part of EMDR, which is resourcing, so more stabilization work. Because EMDR can be really effective when there's information that's stored incorrectly from like maladaptive belief systems. But all of this that's going on right now is not irrational. It's not maladaptive. It's so real. And I think part of the work with clients, in addition to EMDR, is just validating their experience and holding space for it. And yeah, it really is an anxiety provoking time, and it's really hard, and it's totally okay to feel that way.
Hmm.
I think that's a big part of just holding the space.
Yeah, and I know the recurrent kind of thoughts and feelings that come up for people.
Right.
And I think it varies from person to person, but one is like, survivor's guilt, like, why did that person get sick and not me? Or, did I infect, another
Yeah, that's
person?
a big one. Yeah.
Yeah. And also just not feeling like I've had, for example, patient that I'm working with, and her father is at risk. So
Right.
she's the one who goes out for groceries, for her parents.
Yeah.
And I know it's so hard because she's sitting in a space where she's feeling, I'm so worried about infecting my parents, and then her parents are so worried, oh my goodness, she's going out and she might get infected. And if she does, she'll be all by herself.
It's
So
these are real concerns.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's just such immense feelings. And then so many people who are sick. I also have another friend who was quarantined from her husband for like a month.
Oh, wow.
And she has to take care of her kids, her three
Right.
little children
Oh,
for a month. Yeah. So it just so many different issues are coming up.
Yeah.
So specifically, because, I know the protocol, which, you've shared so generously, um, the ones that we use for EMDR. Is there any tips that you give clients, specifically on sleep that might be helpful?
Yeah.
Like, let's say people who can't necessarily go for treatment, right? And by the way, just to mention, right now we're doing remote sessions,
Yes.
not in
I'm
office.
in a crazy playroom area right now.
Yes. Yes. So EMDR, which is wonderful, can be done remotely as well. So the protocol that Dina was speaking of can be done remotely, and we both do
100%.
it.
Yep.
But any quick tips, like for those who are watching and,
Yeah.
can or don't necessarily want to invest in treatment right now, for that matter?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing I find myself repeating most often is a bedtime routine and waking up at the same time every day and going to bed at the same time every night. That's huge because like our brains just work, but we're creatures of habit. So
Hmm.
the more that we do something, we're preparing our mind to understand it's time to get ready for sleep. And all of those, like, our melatonin and serotonin, all of those things kind of come on to help us sleep better.
Hmm.
So that's huge. Just developing kind of like a sleep hygiene protocol of, for me personally, like I kind of get my brain ready for sleep when I take all my makeup off, I wash my face, I put my pajamas on, I sit in bed. Like those are the little signals I send to my brain of it's time to start quieting
Those are really good ones.
down.
Yeah. I think also, and I know we're big fans of kind of mindfulness and meditative practices and
Yeah.
contemplative practices, but I love just doing like a guided meditation or breathing exercises before bed,
Yes.
just to, like you said, to compress, and deactivate, our, right? Because there's just so much going on during the day, I feel.
Busy, busy brains, right?
Yeah,
They're always going
exactly.
on moving.
Exactly. And I think even just with like online learning and working from the house, and just like you said, like you're sitting there waiting like for your baby to wake up,
Right.
and knowing that you have like these spare moments,
That's
so
word. Yeah. Those are the
yeah.
struggles, right? Where it's like, okay, how do I shift? I just did
Mhm.
this whole little workshop with some individuals who are in the media profession, and they're all working from home. And a lot of it was, how do I shift from
Mhm.
working to, being a mom or being a dad? And some of it is set a special place in your house if you're working remotely, that's where you do your work. So then when you disconnect from that, you walk away, even if you don't have an office, it's just like
Mhm.
a spot at your kitchen table, so that when you're done, you can like close your laptop or shut your computer off and you walk away. And again, training your brain of like, okay, that's my commute, right? I'm now walking into the living room instead of
Yeah.
sitting here. Because for some of us that do travel for work, that commute time is actually really helpful from disconnecting from your day.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
to kind of create the same element,
Mhm.
even
That's
though you're
that's
home.
that's a great tip. And I know for myself too, like I need that break. Like I just need, my brain needs to know, like, right, like last night I remember my cousin called me and asked me to, send her something, and I sent it, but not to the email she wanted. And on my way home, she said, "Oh, by the way, did you send it?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Oh, what email?" And I told her, and she said, "Oh, it's not that email." And I said, "I am so sorry, but like I'm off my PC like
Right.
for
I'll
the
take it
night." And it
tomorrow.
was like
Yeah.
9:30 at night. I'm like, "I'm sorry, I'm not getting back on. I'm happy to send it tomorrow, but like I'm off right now."
That's exactly right. That's so
Yeah.
important to have
Yeah.
space in between your professional world and your home world. Like we
Yeah.
need, even if it's like closing your laptop, if you don't have a big space, get away from your computer and just go for a walk around the block as long as like it's nice out, and just to again, you want to make
Mhm.
space
Yeah.
between home and work.
I love that. So, any last minute things that you feel would be helpful? What you shared was so helpful. And I know, like I said, if anybody's looking for treatment, Dana's
Thank you.
terrific. And I can't speak more highly of her,
Thank
honestly.
you so much. Yeah, thank you
And
for
we're very fortunate because we get to, be, like I told you, in the supervision group on a
yes,
monthly basis. So we really get,
I
to
love that time.
discuss, yeah, to
I love
discuss
that.
our patients and like our challenges,
Yeah,
and really get feedback from each other. So it's been
so
really
helpful.
valuable. Yeah.
and I love that time with you as well. It's
Yeah,
just nice to be in a space where we all can share experiences because it's for the best help of our clients. We want to make sure we're giving adequate treatment and doing
absolutely.
doing good service by them.
Absolutely. And we need the support too. Like, right.
100%. 100%.
People forget that we also, have, our own personal lives and feelings that come up too. So it's so helpful to have each other and just,
100%. It feels
yeah.
good. It feels
So
yeah.
thank you so much for
Yeah.
coming
Yeah.
and give a hug to that gorgeous little boy
I
of yours.
will. Oh, me too. I can't wait to see